Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to look back at the interview I did with one of Hungary's leading riders, and that is of course Attila Valter. This is Attila Valter's second season on the World Tour, but the first year with his new team Groupama FDJ. Valter grabbed headlines in 2019 when he won the penultimate stage of that year's Tour de lavenir, riding for the Hungarian national team. Despite a chaotic global situation in 2020, Valter in his first season with the senior CCC team managed to win his home tour, the Tour of Hungary, and even debuted in his first ever Giro D'Italia, where he placed an impressive 27th. Now in 2021, Valter has already begun the next chapter of his career with Groupama FDJ in the UAE Tour. So without further ado, here is the interview with Attila Valter. Hello Attila, great to have you here. How are you? And where are you right now?
Hi, thanks for having me. Just after the UAE, I'm back home. I live in Budapest. Most of my times I'm here. I really enjoy being here, being home. So I grew up here, so it's at home.
So you've joined Groupama FDJ. So this is your second season on the World Tour. How has it been adjusting to a French team coming from a Polish team, CCC?
I can say it's now going pretty well. Of course, I had to learn a lot to be totally accepted by the team. I mean, I learn a lot French, but I'm on it. I'm learning quite a lot every day. I practice a bit. I have 2 classes per week. Actually, I will have in 1 hour another online class supported by the team with a French teacher. So despite that, was super easy. They really friendly. They really talkative, even if they do not speak too much English. Most of them enjoy talking in French, of course, but they're trying to communicate with me. Also in the UAE team, in the UAE squad was like that. So I really enjoy now being in the team. But we just started. We have to see how we go in long terms.
Yeah. So you mentioned the UAE Tour. That was your first race with them, and a World Tour race as well. How was that race for you? Because it started very chaotically with the crosswinds on stage 1.
It was a chaotic race, we can say, but in the end, it was a super nice experience. Now I think back to the race already just a few days after, like it was a really good way to start the season. But I always, want a little more, fight a little more, and like that. So with the race was like finished at the first stage. It was not a super good mentally for me. I went there for the GC. I went there to fight and to already have a good result just at the start of the season. That's how I like it. I like to fight always in every race for the best possible result. So it was not easy to let that opportunity go just after 1 hour of racing in a 7 days race. So but after that everything was getting better and better. So in the end was no stress at all in these 7 days on me. Of course, expect the first race the day before the race. So after the GC went, it's always a bit nicer to have no expectations on yourself or from the team or for yourself. So then I just let it go, and then I try to enjoy and gaining new experiences, get to know my team, how it's working, how we all getting along with each other. So for that, I think was a perfect race. This UAE Tour also to get to know UAE. I never been there before, so it was super spectacular and a super well organized race. I have to say it was. They really paid attention to the COVID and everything. So it was just, I think, a good way to start the season and a good way to start a new chapter with a new team.
For us, when we're watching it on the TV, we don't really appreciate how hard it is to ride in crosswinds. And the Middle East, there's like no trees or anything. Kind of, you're very exposed, and particularly in races like they used to be, the Tour of Qatar. What is it like to be in the crosswinds? Is it just, are you going absolute max wattage wise?
Yeah, for me it's one of the hardest part of racing. I never been too many times in a situation like this, thankfully. For me it's even harder than climbing or doing anything. You are not going on your max, you have to go more than your max, and that's often a problem. It's one moment is super easy, and the other for a few moments it's just super hard. And then you are nervous. Everyone is nervous. There are some crashes. It's hard to hold on to your bike when the wind is pushing from the side. Everyone is fighting for position. You have to fight. It's like a constant sprint finish, just for 100 kilometers. So I like climbing much more. There you do your best. There you have the space, and eventually everyone will drop. But here, no, everyone just sticks together, and then it come back. Then it split again. And for me, it's of course the hardest part of the racing. But for that was a super good experience to have not just one, but like 20 times the split in the group. So I had many chances to try again, try again, try again.
As this is your first season with Groupama FDJ, what's your goals for this year? Is it kind of another year of learning? It's only your second season on the World Tour, and the Giro d'Italia, you're down for that. So is that kind of the main target for this year?
Yeah, one big target will be, the biggest goal is always to improve. I think everyone should have this as the main goal, to be better than last year, and then it's all good. If you are already better than last year every year, then you are on a good path. So the main goal is this, to improve with the power, with the wattage, with the records, also to improve in the peloton, in the crosswind, and all these things with the TT. For me, the most on the climbing, to be finally there in most of the races with the top contenders, the top climbers. And then in aspect of races, one will be the Giro with the Thibaut Pinot. I hope that will be a super good race for us, for me, for him, for all the team. I really wait to fight for him, honestly. I didn't had too much races where I had to help others, because on the development team CCC I was mostly the leader, and also last year in the CCC we had different roles in the team. So I can't wait to try myself as a real domestic, when I just have to pull until a certain point full gas, and then I have to save as much as possible for the other days. So one big goal is like this in the Giro, and the other will be the Olympic Games, as we have one spot for Tokyo for Hungary, and now it looks like I will be the one who can go there. So this is the two main goals. But yeah, like I said, the most important is to be stronger next year at this time than I am now.
This would be your second Giro d'Italia as well. Last year you did the Giro, and it was supposed to start in Budapest, which I was really upset that it didn't. And it looks like it will start there in 2022. Was that something at the start of the season that you were looking forward to? You live in Budapest, and then seeing the Giro come to Hungary as well.
Yeah, of course. It would be, I think, the biggest thing in the history of cycling in Hungary. And I honestly think, after visiting all the stages, and of course knowing it without even visiting, that it will be a super spectacular race. Super good, the prologue in Budapest. Believe me, it's incredibly beautiful. And they would close all the way from one sightseeing point to another in front of the parliament and the Buddha Castle and all of this stuff. It's incredible. It will be super nice. Also, the other two stages will be going in the Lake Balaton, which is quite famous in Europe. So it will be a super, super grande partenza. And also for the cycling, I was super hyped for that. And I was also shocked also that it will be cancelled. And then when they finally announced that there will be finally a Giro in 2020, but it won't start in Hungary. So it was a big shock. But I can understand, without the spectators, it's not worth too much for the country to push if nobody can come to the country to visit. So I hope, next year we'll be here, and I hope I can be here next year as well.
I mean, Hungary for me isn't really a country that I would associate with cycling. I more know it for handball. Handball is very big in Hungary. So how did you kind of get into cycling when you were younger?
For me, it was a super easy question, because my father was a cyclist as well. It's maybe better to ask him how he was getting involved, because my grandparents had nothing to do with cycling. They found him in a school program back when he was around 10 years old. Was way more cyclist in the country, more races and like this. So he's just getting started, and he stuck in. So when I was born, he was still a rider. and then he became a coach in my city next to Budapest, where I grew up. Yeah, the rest is history. It was super easy to get there, and I tried many sports, but finally I always come back to cycling and actually never stopped. So he was my coach until the last 2 years. I'm working with different coaches, but still he's following me almost every day. Yesterday we also went to training together. He's still training 4 or 5 hours almost every day. Today he's going more than me. So yeah, we are like a cycling family. So as you said, it's not so common in Hungary, the cycling. Maybe now it's more and more, but when I started, it was not so famous. But yeah, I think I grow into the good family.
It has also grown as a race as well. It's gone from a 2.2 and now it's a 2.1, and seeing like bigger teams come to the race as well. So that must all be good signs for Hungarian cycling.
Yeah. I think also the riders, we are getting more and more in the World Tour. Now we are two in the World Tour, but we also have, I don't exactly know how much, maybe 6 or 7 even in the Pro Conti. So we are now getting close to have 10 professional riders, and of course many more in the continental level. And also the base is growing just because of this, because they're seeing there is a future in cycling, and for sure it's we can thank a lot to Tour of Hungary to have such a good race, which is making the cycling more famous in the country from a not too good, let's be honest, 2.2 race, just a regular, just nothing good, or I try to find the good words, nothing unexceptional, to going for a 2.1 race, which is trying to be a pro series, and getting big teams like Trek Segafredo or Jumbo Visma or Bike Exchange or CCC. It's a super good thing for the cycling, for the Hungarian cycling. So I hope something is really, really starting here.
So, I mean, the Tour of Hungary, you have quite a relationship with in your career. You first did it in 2017, and then in 2020, well, in 2019, you finished top three. And then last year in 2020, you became the first Hungarian winner in the modern time to win it. And you also become the youngest winner of the race overall. What was that like for you, particularly stage 5, when you put in a very savage attack to drop everyone?
Yeah, for sure, it's hard to say now, but maybe it's one of the turning points of my career. I honestly was not going there to win. I was preparing for the Giro, maybe a bit too much. So I had super hard trainings just before the race, because I couldn't go well rested to this race, because then it won't came up together perfect for the Giro. So maybe that was the good recipe to not pushing myself too much. There is a lot of good riders, big teams. Last year I already had the podium, I said to myself, so you don't have to stress too much about this race. Then it was official that I was going to the Giro. So anyway, you have some good achieved in the year. Yeah, finally it was just everything came together. I felt just super, super strong on that stage. I had a good, let's say, easy stages before in the sprints. The team spirit was up to skies, because we won 3 stages in a row with Jakub Mareczko. And in the CCC, we haven't won too much. We had super good riders, but we were not quick step or something like that. So 3 win in a row, even if just a 2.1 race, but it's 3 win in a row. And we had some good teams around, and we were far better than them in this race. So this gave me for sure a big motivation. And then I don't know what happened. I felt no pain. I felt super great in the final. I was just so hyped that all of the people was there. My name was tagged on the road. So it was a surreal feeling, especially after, as you said, I started many times. And yeah, I was not up with the best in all the moments. So it was just a super feeling. And yeah, it maybe changed a bit my life.
It looked like you were pedaling quite a heavy gear on that final climb.
Yeah, everywhere I pedaling heavy gear. I came from the mountain bike, and I think I learned that there. And all my coaches in the years and everyone who is seeing me saying, "Hey, you must push higher gear, more cadence, try to focus more on this. Yeah, I try, but I cannot. That's just my style. So there is not even heavy. You should see when I'm not feeling strong, when I feel on the limit, and when I'm dead, I drop even too lower the cadence. I can go with 65 non-stop. For sure, it's not efficient, but I don't know why. That's just my style. I can tell you, I have no problem with the SFR trainings, with the low cadence trainings. It's like doing nothing for me.
One of the times when your name first popped up in the cycling world was in the Tour de l'Avenir on stage 9. What was that Tour de l'Avenir for you? And of course, the Tour de l'Avenir is seen as like the Tour of the future, Tour de France of the future. This the most elite race for under 23 riders, and being there for you representing Hungary.
Yeah, it was just a super nice opportunity. I still can be super grateful for the federation and the coach of the federation to push this forward. It was not easy to get our country invited in the first place because we haven't started too many times, and we don't have anyone who was a name in the cycling, let's say. So many countries willing to start, but of course it's not endless spots in the race. So then when we know that we are going there, we know that we have to show something, that we are here to make a difference, to show that Hungarian cycling is changed. We are here to make results. So we arrived there with a super nice group and with a super good shape. And my personal goal was also to do something there, to put my mark there, because this is the race what the big teams are watching. This is where you can show yourself. I had many good races in 2019, but all of that together, even if I finished, I think 5 or 6 times in the podium in UCI stage races, just like Tour of Hungary, was not worth as much as one stage winning Tour de l'Avenir. So the pressure was high, but also that was another changing point, let's say, in the career to get to the World Tour. I think this was much needed.
I mean, you've represented Hungary in so many different world championships, starting in Bergen, and last year you did your first elite world championships. Is every single one of those championships special for you to pull on the Hungary colors and race for your nation?
I have a, let's say, not so special relationship with the world championships. Also in the mountain bike, I already did a lot, Europeans and worlds. Sometimes I had good results and something to remember of, but most of the times, especially on the road, I'm just really not a one-day racer, I think. And these races are let's say, it's brutal hard. So also last year I was on my limit just to finish, and the years before when I raced in under, I think I had the power but not the knowledge to do some good result or fight with the best. Bad in position or bad luck or bad day in the legs. So it's always, of course, a special feeling to wear the Hungarian kit and arrive there with a small group with let's say all my friends. We are not like the big countries. We don't have the bus or anything. So it's just most of the time for the experience.
And just the final few questions. So if there was one climb that you would like to train on every day, which climb would it be? Which is your favorite climb?
Yeah, it's a hard question. There is one small mountain close to Budapest. We had last year the first stage of Tour of Hungary there. It's really nothing crazy, nothing unusual, but I don't know why I love it so much. Yesterday I had 6 hours in that mountain. It's just 600 meters the top, but I enjoy climbing it up, down all the way. So I don't know, I had a special feeling when I'm there. I had the feeling I have no problem. I'm super relaxed there, even if I have a hard training there. So I really enjoy being in this climb. So I would say this one instead of some famous one like the Stelvio or something. It's also nice to do it, but this is actually one I do every day. So I can say I can do this every day. Maybe I won't do that on the Stelvio.
So finally, what is your best and worst day on a bike, race-wise?
Race-wise, for sure, it's a big battle between the Tour de l'Avenir and the Tour of Hungary stage wins. The worst day, maybe stage 19 in the Giro. with the Stelvio. I'm not saying in the last question Stelvio because of this, but at this stage I was totally on my limit already from the start. We had Madonna di Campignolo and then a long way and then Stelvio and then up to Lago di Cancano. It was almost 6,000 elevation in a brutal third week, and I was just empty. So it was, one of my hardest day. Also in the head, in the body, everything. It was one of the worst day in the bike. Was the hardest for sure.
Thanks very much for that, Attila. We will look out for you in the 2021 season. And of course, when the Giro D'Italia starts in Budapest, we'll all be very excited to see you there as well. Thanks for your time. And let's see you hopefully again.